What I've seen is I've seen a lot of black Brits, and they've been doing the podcast thing. And so you guys know, let me just say this. I don't necessarily dislike podcasts. I think podcasts can be very beneficial. I have one, have a couple kinda actually. But I also think podcasts can be problematic. So it's a pro and a con, just like YouTube, just like TikTok, just like social media in general is a pro and a con. I'm not one of these people who say get rid of podcasts. I mean, if you're going to say that, you might as well say get rid of YouTube, get rid of social media. I don't say that. I do think there are people who are vastly uneducated who go on to podcasts. I do think that there are people who completely know nothing of what they're talking about, and they go on to podcasts and they try to sound like an intellectual. They try to sound like they know what they're talking about, and they really don't. I also think that there's a lot of people who try to go viral on podcasts, and I've been on podcasts before. I've done interviews before. I've even been on the local news in Chicago before, and I've never deliberately did what I did for the intention of going viral. And I think a lot of people who go on these shows and go on these podcasts do that. So, you know, that's something that probably is something that we need to mature from as a society. But what I've seen, and I'm just giving you all this context so you guys can understand, what I have seen is I've seen a lot of black British people just completely straight up hating on black Americans. So they'll be in podcasts and they'll be all like, um, I've seen a lot recently when it comes to soul food, when they be all like, well, black Americans, y'all really don't have soul food. That's been a big topic. Y'all food is really African food, or y'all food is really Caribbean food. And it's a lot of black British people acting like black Americans. I've seen this for a couple years now. Actually, I've seen a lot of black British people going around saying stuff like black Americans don't really know where we're really from. I've seen that go on. I've seen a lot of like just disparaging and condescending things coming from the podcast where black British people are talking in a circle amongst each other about black Americans. And then when black Americans say like, why y'all obsessed with us? Because I'm going to be very honest. I don't see a lot of black American podcasts where black Americans are sitting around talking to each other and we're constantly bringing up British people or black British people. I don't see that. I want to know, where's the hate coming? I just don't understand it. And I want people to understand what I believe the hate is coming from: the fact that a lot of these black British people are really jealous. A lot of these non-black Americans, if we're going to be very honest, are very jealous of black Americans. You know, our culture, our style, our food, our everything is something that is copied. It's something that is mimicked. It's something that is admired. And let's be honest, and I'm not saying this for every single black British people. I know some black British people, good people. But if we're going to tell the truth, their culture is not admired because black British people really don't have a black British culture separate from British culture. Black quote unquote British culture is really just British culture that black people do. That's a difference between black Americans, because even though we are American, black American culture is something unique and separate from the rest of American culture. You understand what I'm saying? So we're really the only group of people who have an ethnicity in a nation that is completely divorced from the rest of the population's culture and you know, ways of life, so to speak. And that is something that is very admirable. And that is something that black British people like to copy. And here's the thing. I understand it. I really, really do. I understand why people get upset. I understand why people want to copy us. If I wasn't a black American, I would want to be a black American. And, you know, some people can say that that's boastful or that's prideful, and it is, but it's the truth. What I don't like is the fact that it's not being done in a respectful way at all. It's not being done in a respectful way. Instead of them saying like, hey, y'all cool over there. I like y'all style. I like this. I like that. Y'all really cool. You know, we're emulating you guys, but in a way of respect. That doesn't happen with them. Okay. Instead, when they emulate black Americans, they do it and they don't give us at all the credit for it. Okay, so there's talking about drill. Really, I've seen some people, and I don't know if this is they were just being facetious, but they're saying that drill music really came from um from the UK. I've seen some other UK rapper talk about he invented like a, what do you call it, Adidas tracksuit, or he's the one who made the Adidas tracksuit a trend. And we see this often with the diaspora. Instead of them doing what we do in a way of respect, they do what we do, and then next thing you know, they're saying that we got it from them. And I think that the British and black little squabble that's going on is a really reflection, is a big reflection of black Americans in the diaspora. Because we will do something and we don't just get the credit for it. We don't, not only do we not get the credit for it, we also get told that we get it from other people. Everything we do, we got from them. You know, our soul food, it is really not black American soul food. It's really African soul food. Our music is not really black American music. It's really African music. They crowbar and they like jump in front of the line to get credit. You know, so that's what I've seen throughout this whole conversation. I've seen this, you know, a couple of videos on TikTok, and I like to get you all's opinion on this. So we'll get to Phoenix Hebrew FBA. What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, I just want to comment right quick because you made up a good point, man. Is that, you know what I'm saying? When they first came out, because you touched on the drill topic, right? So I ain't know nothing about no black British people at all. I was Pan African at one time, but I ain't know nothing about them, you feel me? And I used to listen to drill music. But then I forgot how I think I saw it on YouTube or something like that, where I saw that they were trying to claim drill music and trying to claim that, you know what I'm saying, they started it and all that, and we took it from them and stuff. No one dang well that drill music come from Chicago and stuff like that. And then I've seen the videos that Adonis has where, you know what I'm saying, he's interviewing them and all that. And man, they been saying some crazy stuff about us, talking about we don't know where we come from, we're stupid, and just things of that nature. Yeah, so I definitely think it's a lot of, unfortunately, it's a lot of jealousy and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, where I wish we could, you know what I'm saying, be cool and all that and be like, you know what I'm saying, just, hey, you can use some of our culture, but just respect it, you know what I'm saying? But then, you know what I'm saying, to your point, though, you made a really good point is that, you know what I'm saying, we allow people into our culture and stuff like that, and then they'll take it and run with it and be like, well, this is really ours. This is really ours. You didn't really create it. You're really all from Africa and all that. So technically, this is ours. So you're making a lot of great points, man, and stuff like that. Cause I don't be thinking about these people, man. Right when that app, right when TikTok, you know what I'm saying, got shut down and all that, I wasn't thinking about no black British people. You know what I'm saying? So you making some really good points, my boy.
Appreciate you, brother.
Phoenix,
What?
not my boy.
Oh,
Not
my
my
God.
boy turned out. He's older than me. Not my
My
boy.
bad.
Chill.
My OG. My OG. My bad.
Yeah, that's I like that.
My bad. My bad.
Appreciate you. Okay, well, we got some more people. If y'all want to come up and y'all want to give me your opinions on it, you can. Let me get to my brother Marshall. What's up, Marshall? How you feeling, brother?
Peace, peace, family. I hope all is well with you. Thank you for having me on the panel. I highly appreciate it. I think what the discrepancy is, right? I think that they are trying to fight for global respect and global acceptance, right? And um, in order to do that, they understand that we are the trendsetters of the earth. They understand that we, when people they look at us for everything, for music, for emotional currency, for everything, and so they know they can't take that voice from us. So
Mm,
instead of taking that voice from us, what they try to do is either blend in or try to dominate the voice, right? They try to dominate the culture or force us to align with them so now they can be the culture and our voice can be utilized as their tool and for their benefit, and that's what's going on. So this is why when it come down to a lot of the things that we created, they try to find a way to tie themselves into that, right? Because now if I can tie myself into that, now I can claim it, and now when I talk about things, people will look to me as the authority because I have the voice that wielding power of the Black Americans. So
mm.
this is why they hate on the FBA lineage, because now people are kind of drawing a line on the sand and saying, no, hold on, this is ours, this is that, and kind of letting it be known. And so now what happens is it's scary because now they have to fight for their own global acceptance, their own global respect now because you can't cling on to us anymore. You've been clinging on to us for the last 60 years. So now it's scary because you got to fight for your own global respect and acceptance, and that's the scary part.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You know, essentially, Black Americans, and I've said this, and some people gotten offended, but let's be honest, it's time for us to tell the truth. Black Americans have been putting up the points for the entire diaspora for generations now, and we've been cool with that. We've been sharing our points on the board for everybody. And now since we're saying, you know what, our points, we gonna keep that to ourselves, okay? Because essentially, any championship that's been won has been won by us for the most part. And now that we saying, you know what, we keeping our points to ourselves, it kind of reflects the fact that they don't have no points. You know, they want to claim, well, we've been essentially carrying the diaspora on our back for the most part. Let's be honest about it. Let me get to um Cam. Cam Ao, I believe is that how it's pronounced, sister?
Okay. It's Alao.
Alao. Okay, all right.
Yes. Um, I, what the brother just said was so brilliantly stated. I want to first say that I completely agree. And just to piggyback off of that, there's an overrepresentation of Black American culture because we let our voice be heard, right? And the frustrations is other people in the diaspora get frustrated because they're like, hey, again, they want their own identity. The problem that I have as a Black American is they never give the energy to where it should be. The frustrations they're really having is with white supremacy. And instead of attacking white supremacy for its faults, they've decided to attack Black Americans. The second point I want to make is because America is such a powerhouse, right? As in the world, right? They cannot allow Black Americans to identify themselves with such a powerful nation. Because again, like the brother said before, that discredits them as Black people, right? And instead of fighting white supremacy that colonized your countries, that dismantled your own traditions, they've decided to lay that fault at Black Americans' feet. The reason we're overrepresented all around is because of our voice. That's it. And once they realize it's their own voice that needs to make their own way, they'll do it. And again, we are very tired of being the face for the diaspora. We are tired of that and getting no recognition and getting nothing but disrespect thrown at us. And again, we ain't taking it no more. So you have to do your own job. It is not our job to make you be visual. It is yours. And that was it.
That's true. That's true. We It's not our job and it's not our responsibility. And now that you see, and if anybody wants to disagree, this isn't an echo chamber. If you want to disagree, you can respectfully come up and disagree, as long as you're respectful about it. You know, you can come up and disagree. If you have a difference of opinion, that's fine. But to piggyback off of what our sister just said, yeah, our voice is powerful. It is the most powerful, and if and everybody else has been latching onto it, and now that we're saying, you know what we're not going to do is we're not going to share the credit for the work that we and our lineage has done. We're not going to share the credit like that anymore, because what we've been doing is we've been saying Black culture, and everybody gets to participate, whether it's hip hop, soul
Right.
food, dance, just our lingo slang with what everybody's calling now AAVE. You know what I'm saying? So we've been able to just share that blankly across the board with everybody. And yet, but the issue is that with other cultures, they say, okay, well, no, this is our culture
Yep.
specifically. This is us. You know, they don't have the same relationship where everything is everything with us. You know, what they have, they sanction off. Okay, no, this is Nigerian culture. No, this is Jamaican culture. No, this is Haitian culture. No, this is whatever. And they make sure to let it be known that we are not a part of that. You know, they make sure when we walk in the house, we feel like guests in the house. But when
Mm-hmm.
they walk in our house, they feel like family. So now what we're doing is we're keeping the same energy with everybody. Okay, if
Right.
I'm guesting your house, that's fine. Now you're guesting my house. And they don't like that because we got a better house. That's just the truth.
And it also should be stated this in case there's any confusion. The reason America can be such a powerhouse that it is because of Black Americans, because currency started in slavery. So we were the first currency for this country. And I
Yeah.
think that needs to be stated, that it's the way it is now because of Black Americans. And
Yeah.
that's a flex I'm going to always have.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I agree. Now, if y'all disagree, y'all can come up, but y'all heavy in the comments. Y'all want to say something? Y'all can come up and say something. Let me get to American Woolhead. You got it.
What's up, Afro, and everybody else, BX? I appreciate you all for having me on the panel.
Was good.
Um,
Hi, American.
what's up? Black Brits hating on Black Americans. There's a reason behind it because they are simply a shadow. They're very insignificant. Nothing that they can point to that they've done in modern times that is worth global attention. And I think that, of course, you're gonna, pick on the big Kahuna because majority of the attention is coming our way, and a lot of Brits had to be had to live in our shadow. When you look at a lot of the swag over there, it was imported from America, not necessarily by us, but because when we walk in a room, it just automatically, it's like a gravitational pull. It just automatically pulls the attention in. So when they look at Black Americans like ourselves, it makes them feel some kind of way because they don't have an Oprah Winfrey, they don't have Will Smith, they don't have a Dr. Claude Anderson, they don't have Ida B. Wells, they don't have any of this. They don't have the 50,000 patents that we have. And whenever we have set the tone for blackness on a global stage. Now that we're delineating, they can't cling on to that. Like, we can't claim Beyonce, we can't claim Will Smith, we can't claim all of this no more. We can't claim those 50,000 patents as our own. What do we have? Why are these Black Americans all of a sudden not allowing us to tether in? Like, what's wrong with that? Like, what do I have now at this point? I know that my country, you got a bunch of child soldiers walking all over the place, and we got potbellies and flies and stuff like that. That's kind of embarrassing to the world. So now that Black Americans are starting to delineate, we can't cling on to that. We don't have nothing. And that's what that is. That's exactly what they is. They can't tether onto it. They can't. It also has a lot to do with the fact that they feel like, and this is the ironic part, they feel entitled to our reparations.
Mm.
You notice the irony of that? They feel entitled to the reparations that our ancestors are deserved. That's the reason why when you go on a lot of these reparations panels, a lot of these people who are voting it down, you notice the foreign names. You notice that? You notice how you see a lot of these names sound like Nigerian or Ghanaian or somebody from the Caribbean in those places. But you notice how when they had their CARICOM, we stayed out of it. We wasn't included in it. We stayed out of it and we moved on. We didn't try to circumvent. We ain't become a part of their panels. We let them did them. We let them do them. But now all of a sudden, they want to be a part of our reparations? That's a problem. The point is, for so long, and one thing that I have to lay my hat off to a lot of Black American parents, our parents don't teach us to hate other cultures because they're a different culture. That's a dirtbag culture. We our parents had better stuff to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
like moving the culture forward, like making sure that we had, was taken care of and stuff like that. Making sure that we had enough food and knowledge to be able to go out into the real world and thrive. And that's all I have to say.
Uh, Afro, may I say something?
All right. Yep.
Okay, so if you look at a lot of FBA follow Adonis, right? And do you notice who he's interviewing? He's interviewing African immigrants who think they are British. Interviewing Caribbean immigrants who think they are British. But I like to suggest to y'all that there was an ethnic Black Brit group over there who would maybe don't have the history that we have here, but could kind of be our equivalent. Because don't forget, Jefferson's enslaved would go back and forth to the continent of Europe, correct? Because that's how macaroni and cheese, all that good stuff. So I started wondering if Black Britons understood what ethnocide was and if they were even there. Like, where are those people? I kept asking myself. And finally, one day in the comment section, I talked to one. He said they call themselves ancient Britons. They don't want to hear nothing about an African. So, from the limited conversation that we had, he understood what they were going through, but he didn't know the name for it. He just kind of tried, I guess, to ostracize himself. But now, other FBA, family members are coming up saying they too are now speaking to ancient Britons, and they are not realizing what they went through. But a lot of them intermarried, and so their culture, it's like it all assimilated together. So the good thing for us is that we were more aware of what was going on. And now we're peeling off the layers and making sure that we don't become like them, almost non existent. But my heart goes out for them because every, for lack of a better word, indigenous ethnic group of a certain demographic deserves to stay intact. So I just wanted to put that out there. It's not even the ancient ancient Black Brits that are talking. It's always the immigrants, just like here in America. Like they don't know how to respect cultural boundaries and understand Africa is their home, the Caribbean is their home, but Europe and America is not their home. They're migrants.
Let me add on to that for a second. Now, when Adonis was first doing his TikToks and everything like that, and he was going viral, he was asking them their opinions about it, and you saw not only did they have this opinion, it wasn't just one clip, it was a lot. Like this is this thought is really a general consensus among a lot of the immigrant Brits or the new Black Brits, so to speak, not the native Black Brits, but the new Black Brits. This isn't like we're not just blowing up one single video of one person saying this. Adonis made several videos of several different Black British people, and they were saying this pretty much the same exact thing. So there is a consensus on this. Now, what's interesting about this is that when you saw that, and we're starting to recognize this with the age of TikTok and social media and all of this stuff, I didn't see Pan-Africanists go around and be all like, Black British people, how could you feel this way about your brothers and sisters and stuff like that? Now, these are the same people who will come to us, and I've seen some in the chat room here. These are the same people who will come to us, and when we say something, when we just acknowledge the existence of the hate that we receive, they'll be all like, how could you say this, brother? This is so divisive. How could you separate your brothers and sisters in the diaspora? They'll gaslight us. They'll say that we are divisive. They'll say that we're anti-black. They'll say that we're talking, we're racist, and nationalistic epithets towards other people. We're xenophobic. They'll say all of these things, but they will never address the source of why we are even saying these things in the first place. We're not just saying these things because we got Black British people on the top of our heads. We're saying these things because there are multiple videos that's all gone viral, and everybody is now seeing this. So when Black Americans address the hate that we receive, we get called divisive. We get called xenophobic. We get called haters when we address the hate we receive. Now, when they're doing that, whether that's from Black Brits, whether that's from the Caribbean, whether that's from Africa, when the diaspora is saying anything at all negative about Black Americans, you don't ever see nobody going into their lives, going into their comment section talking about they need to stop being divisive. They need to stop being xenophobic. They need to stop hating. So my question, and I've been asking this question for years, why is the standard of unity, the standard of Pan-Africanism, the standard of togetherness and brother and sister and family and all of that stuff, why is that standard only put on us? Why are we the only ethnic group of people expected to uphold that standard? That's what I want to know. And if anybody in the comment section, because y'all had a lot to say, if anybody in the comment section has an answer to that question, you can feel free and come up and answer that question. Let me get you the next one. Mass Supreme.
Yo,
What's up?
yeah, what's up? Yeah, I'm just listening. I don't usually come up to panels like this because a lot of time there's a lot of rah rah going on and stuff. But obviously, listening to your panel, it's a conversation to be had, and I understand the conversation. All I can say to you is this: like I said, I'm based in the UK, right? I'm from Nigeria. I'm of Nigerian descent. I've been living in this country since I was 7 years old. I'm now in my 40s, and I'm not saying that some of the grievances that you guys have is not valid. Are there Nigerians, for example, my own people, who look down on African Americans? Yes, but they look down on Jamaicans as well. And they look down on people of lower class within Nigeria itself and other tribes, right? So let's just get that out of the way. So this is not about me gaslighting and saying you guys don't have a right to feel frustrated about the way you feel like black people across the diaspora treat you. You have valid points. So, for example, now, I personally do not agree with British, Black British, or African British, Nigerian British actors playing the role of Black American heroes. I'm totally against that. And I'm Nigerian myself. David Oyelowo played Martin Luther King. I disagree with that. Cynthia Erivo played Harriet Tubman. I disagree with that. I think African Americans, Black Americans should play those roles. And I'm just saying this for you to get the level that I'm coming from. This is not about, I'm not going to argue with anybody. People in the chat were making their little, well, you can't move me. I'm a critical thinker. I know what I'm talking about. I'm comfortable in my skin. All I can tell you is this: are there people on you guys? It's very important that you don't let the few loud minority on TikTok make you think that there's jealousy or hatred towards African Americans. There really is not. I'm around black circles. I'm around black men, around black women. I've never heard the kind of stuff that you're saying these TikTokers are saying. The average black Caribbean in UK or black African in UK is not saying these things. I promise you. We look up to you guys in such a huge way. We respect your culture. You will never meet a UK rapper, for example, and he will never tell you that, oh, we created rap. He will never, if you ask him to name his top 5, top 10, it's gonna be a bunch of American rappers. There's this idea that we walk around hating you, we're jealous of you, we look down on you. Like, for the average black person, we don't, in UK, that's not the case at all. We have nothing but respect for you. We have nothing but empathy for what you guys have gone through. The other guy was talking about we want to take your reparations. That when he made that statement, that's what really kind of got me, because it's like, what are you talking about? Because in the UK, the Caribbeans in the UK, the black Caribbeans, they're worried about getting getting compensation for what happened to their ancestors in the Caribbean. Us Africans, we're trying to get compensation for colonization. So we're not thinking about what we want to take. We have our own things that we can claim and that we deserve as well. Just like African Americans, black Americans deserve reparations. Like, you will never meet an average black person in the UK that will be like, no, I would vote against that. So it's just, to me, it's just hearing you guys talk like this. I understand where it comes from. I understand the need to gatekeep. You guys have every right to gatekeep. I understand your frustrations, but letting the voice of a minority on this app, on these apps, change your mind about how you see UK people is crazy. Bro, as you are right now, if you went to Nigeria right now, you would literally be treated like a prince, like a king, bro. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass. Ask any Nigerian you come across, ask them. You'll be respected, you get treated, you'll be asked questions, people try to talk like you. Like, but obviously all this thing I'm saying is gonna go over people's heads, because that doesn't fuel you. You rather be like, you want to be. It's important not to go on.
Let me address them real quick. I don't think. Well, I'm gonna speak for myself. I am not saying this about all black people, black Brits. I'm not saying this about all black Brits. Okay, and I don't think anybody in the panel was saying this about every single last one of black Brits. However, we've seen not just one or two videos, and I've said this earlier. I don't know how long you were listening, but we've seen several videos of several different podcasts. Adana's going to several different people randomly doing interviews on the street. So much so the sample size that we've gotten is so large to we can actually make the conclusion that there is a consensus, there is a belief, a negative consensus towards Black American that does exist within Black Brits. Does it exist within every single last one of you all? Of course not. I don't believe that. I don't think anybody here believes that. However, there is enough, and that is not addressed. And yet when we address it, we get told that the sample size is so small that we're really blowing the situation up out of proportion. And that's not going to solve the problem, and it's less than accurate. If it was one or two videos, I could give that to you, but it's not one or two videos. And the videos that we've seen, I've not seen any Black Brits make a video saying, "Hey, I'm a Black British person, and this is not the general consensus. This is not the general thoughts and beliefs of Black British people." It's only up until Black Americans when we say something about it, then y'all come in defense. But y'all don't really check that, and that is because a lot, not all, but a lot of you guys believe something like that or similar to that. Y'all believe that, or you believe something similar to that, or you sympathize with that belief. And we're not going to solve the problem if we can't be honest about that part. So we're not saying all, but there is enough for us to have this conversation. Because I'm going to be honest, the Black Brits and Black Americans thing, this is not new. This has kind of been going on and off for the last couple years or so. And I've not made content about it, but I've been seeing it on and off for the last couple years. So this is not like a new thing that I'm just reacting to.
And
Bro,
I think when it comes, I think when it comes, yeah, real quick,
Just,
I think
yeah,
real quick,
Hold
brother.
on.
Real quick, I just want to say this.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think the issue is this. The 2 points. You said that your country and your people look down on people in general. I think that's an issue in itself.
I said a
I
few
agree.
people. Please don't misconstrue my words. I said a few people. Let's not do
Yeah,
that. I said a
yeah,
few people. I was trying to make a point. Well, go on.
yeah. You're trying to make a point that they look down on everyone, right? Pretty
I
much,
did not
right?
say that. Like, why are you just? I did not say they look down on anyone, everyone. I did not say that.
So it's not to be argumentative, brother. You don't need to.
No, I
Yeah, but you're
mean,
just
you
calling
kind
me out on my
of
words.
that is what you implied, brother. But okay,
Implied
Yeah,
how? How did I imply that?
no,
not,
because you did say you said something very similar to that. That's kind of what
What?
you did say.
Similar to what?
He
That
said they hate
people
on
from your
Jamaicans
homeland,
too.
Yeah,
you
I
said
think what
they
he
said you said people because you said you were originally your lineage is from Nigeria. You told
Yes.
us that your people look down on Jamaicans, they look down on
I
Chinese, they
said
look
they,
down on anybody that they
no, but
determine, even people who are Nigerian from a different tribe, they look down
yeah.
on anybody
I
who's
said they
really
can.
from
I
there.
said they can. Don't generalize my words like every
Okay,
Nigerian or most Nigerians.
that
They
you said
can.
they can't.
We all heard the
Okay.
same
Not
thing,
say
Okay.
brother.
Okay.
they can.
Listen.
Okay, see
Listen.
now,
Okay.
brother, this is why we don't solve the problems because now it seems like you're backtracking on what you
Oh my!
originally said.
I
That's
said
not
they
true.
can be. I said they can be. Why would I say my whole country is that way? That
Nobody's
would be
saying the
stupid
whole
for me.
thing. Okay, nobody's
Yes.
saying that.
Okay. That would be like me saying, are there African Americans who hate on other
Brother,
African Americans? There
real,
are,
real
aren't
quick.
there?
Right now you're
Is there classism?
straw manning. Okay, because we're
Are there
cool
not?
with
Are
you,
there
and
not?
now
Are
you're
there not
making it
bougie?
seem like you didn't say that.
Bro, are there not bougie blacks? Yeah, African American blacks who look down on working class blacks.
So,
What
Yes, there
did
are,
you
aren't there?
say?
That's the point
You're
I
The
was
quoting
making.
what you
goalposts.
said. You're getting
That's the
upset because
point I
you're
was
quoting
making,
what
my
you
G.
said.
That's
You
the
need
point I was making.
okay. Well, you missed it when you said something different. That's what
yeah.
happened.
So
See, this is the
everybody,
point. See, this is the problem. Like, we're having a talk here. You spoke, I spoke,
I
I
will let you.
listened,
I
and
will
now you're
let you
trying to.
respond, Mass. I will let you respond. I'm gonna let Marshall finish his point, and I'm gonna let you
Okay,
go ahead.
man.
You
Like,
and uninterrupted. Marshall, you
yeah.
got it.
Thank you, brother. So one thing we got to understand is that when we have these conversations, we got to remove the combativeness and the emotions, right? And we got to
Mhm.
be able just to have the conversation, regardless of how we feel, or we got to be able to talk without it getting like a back and forth and get ready to, the emotions start rising. So yeah, let me get to the point. So the point what I wanted to make,
no,
that part I brought up, right? That was my first point. The second point is, the brother made a good point. There's a lot of people that a lot of the quiet majority are not silencing or making videos on the loud minority, right? And we got to stop making it seem like the loud minority are just like one or two, right? That minority out of millions could be thousands on thousands on thousands, tens of thousands of people. Yeah, they're the minority, but the way you guys try to minimize that quote unquote minority, it can be in the thousands or the 10,000. So we're not going to play that game of, oh, they're just a minority. But the quiet majority, right? Like the brother said, no one's. I never seen an African say, you know what? As an African, this is not right. This is not what we do. Because when Gilbert Arenas is not Black American, but he cosplayed as us. So the fact that he cosplayed us, it was our duty to call out the fact that he said, the things that he said about the Sudanese team. We didn't play that game. We didn't even allow him to go on with that, right? We was at the front of the line when it came down to that. If you guys were to be the ones to call it out and say, you know what you guys are saying on a day-to-day basis, 365, 24/7 is wrong, this wouldn't be a problem. We wouldn't have a conversation because you know what? We see that you guys are checking your own people out, and we're gonna step back and fall back and let you handle it. But since no one's checking no one, now guess what? We're gonna check it, and then when we check it, because we're mirrors, we don't bother nobody. We are the epitome of love. When you look at the definition of love, and you'll see our picture in the dictionary. But we are also mirrors, and so when we see that energy, we're gonna reflect that energy back. But we have a warrior class, so it's gonna be tenfold. And then that's when people want to cry victim, and that's what I don't like personally. And I land on that.
All right. Now, Mass Supreme, you got it. You can go ahead. And don't
All right.
nobody cut him off. Let him go.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting all of the positive things I've said and how kind of like I kind of supported like the idea of the things that African Americans have contributed, but all you've latched onto is the negative part. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm not here to change anybody's mind. The truth is the truth. I'm literally just on here, me telling you that it's a very small minority. It's me telling you that the rest of us are bigging you up. Do see what you contribute. Do care about the culture. Do care. I took, when what happened to George Floyd happened, there were marches here. I took part in one of those marches. But apparently we don't care. We just look at African Americans. We don't care about African Americans. I'm on this panel because I just care about black people. So for example, all the people in the chat, you can say what you want about me. I really don't care. Because I'm a critical thinker and I understand where that frustration comes from. I can understand how some of your personal experiences with some Africans, some Caribbean people might have been negative, fine. But to paint the brush of most of us being like that and talking about this very loud minority, yes, a loud minority can be influential, but we have to focus on the positives as well and not make that such a big thing, because what happens is then it starts to spread and then that starts to expand into something that it's not. There is no diaspora war. There's nobody here in the UK. I'm telling you, and that's all I'm going to say. I don't care what you got to say in the chat. Why is he angry? I'm a tether. All of that nonsense. I don't care. I'm just here to tell you that it's a very, very tiny minority. Most of us respect African Americans, understand the struggle, care about our people over there. I'm Nigerian. I've literally probably got distant cousins over there because most of the slaves were taken, or most of the people that were captured as slaves were taken. Can I finish talking? Most of the people were taken from West Africa, my place. So for me to sit here and look down on African Americans would be insane. You understand? So to me, like I said, anybody after I'm done, I'm leaving. Say what you want. I really don't care. I'm just here to tell you, to give you a report.
Yes, please leave. Don't engage with them.
You
They are
see what
very
I'm saying? You see,
negative. They are very, very
that's what I'm
negative.
saying. You had somebody in the chat. You had somebody in the chat.
Engaged.
I'm gonna wrap up in a second. You had somebody in the chat literally say Nigeria doesn't have toilets. Like, listen to stuff like that. That's the level we get to. That's the level we get to. That's the level we get to for not
We
careful.
ask that you don't look
For
at the
not careful.
comments.
I'm still talking. Why are you talking? I'm still talking.
First off,
Okay, so
don't talk to
I'm
her
still
like
talking.
that. Stop.
I'm still all right. Cool.
Here's what we're gonna do. As the host, talk to me. If you want to address something that the rest of the people on the panel have said, talk to the panel. Don't be talking to me and in the chat room and in this and in that. Address your comments to me, all right? So we can understand where we're all at. I'm gonna let you finish. Like I said, this is not an echo chamber where you can't come in if you don't agree or whatever. This isn't that. But I'm gonna let you go ahead.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Afro Elite. Yeah, so I'm just going to wrap up with that. I'm just here to say, trust me, the average Nigerian, Ghanaian, Caribbean person in the UK is not going around hating African Americans, not wanting them to get their reparations, disrespecting them. I'm literally just told you that I don't like the fact that Nigerians or Black Caribbeans or from the UK play American Black heroes. I'm literally from the UK and I'm Nigerian. I'm telling you that. But all the positives I'm saying doesn't matter because what people want to latch onto is the negatives. But I'm just here to say, look, I've got empathy for my Black brothers and sisters over there. I don't care what you say in the comments. I'm just here to say that I'm letting you know that, trust me, this diaspora war thing is not real. It is not real.
Okay, let me address something, because I feel as if, and I don't know if you're gonna stay or not. I'm not gonna kick you off, but I don't know if you're gonna voluntarily stay or not. The thing is that when I first responded, I said, not all. We don't believe all. We're not trying to paint every single Black British person, every Black British person, or every Black person who's British or in the UK. We're not painting y'all all with a big broad brush. We're not doing that. Okay. We're not painting everybody in Africa or everybody from the Caribbean with a broad brush. We're not saying y'all all a bunch of haters or y'all all negative. We don't use the word all. We're not talking about absolutes, but we are talking about, even if you're saying it's a majority, a a minority, even if you're saying it's a minority, that minority just seems to be able to do whatever and is not checked by the majority. What you're saying is that the majority believes something completely different from what we're seeing the minority say, yet we don't hear the majority voice their disagreements with the minority. I don't see black British people being all like, don't talk about black Americans like that. That's not how we believe. That's not how we think. I'm not seeing that. It's only when we respond to it do people come up and they tell us that we're overreacting. It's a small reaction. It's a small minority. It's a small population. And this is something that black Americans have been told since forever. Okay, when we finally respond to something, we always gaslit and told that we're overreacting. I'm not saying that it's all, and maybe from your perspective, the solid black brothers and sisters from the UK, maybe that's the majority in your perspective. But I do believe, and I'm saying this very respectfully, that you're downplaying the significance or the size of the black British people who do have some type of negative opinion and disdain for black Americans. Because it's, like I said, it's not one or two videos, which is why we've been saying this. Okay. This has been going on where British black people have been making jabs and disses towards black Americans for a couple of years now. And now finally black Americans are saying something. And then we got black British people being all like, what are y'all talking about? Acting like we're reaching. No, we're not reaching. This stuff has been going on for a while. All right. So, and the thing is that I'm not here to hate on anybody. I'm not here to talk down on anybody. But if we are to solve the problem, we have to be honest. We can't sit up here and act like it's a small, little, insignificant minority that doesn't reflect the thoughts and opinions of the majority if the majority is not even saying that. The majority, from what you're saying, doesn't say that until we say something. We shouldn't have to say anything before the majority speaks out against what the minority is saying.
Thanks. Hi guys. Can I jump in real quickly?
Yeah, because I definitely want to be fair to everybody else in the
Yeah,
panel.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm asking if I can jump in. I don't know if
Yeah, go
anyone
ahead.
else
Go
wanted
ahead.
to
Go
say
ahead.
anything. Let me just preface this with I'm coming from a place of love and light and kindness. As a Jamaican, I can tell you, living in the US for the past 10 years, almost 10 years, September this year will be 10 years. The things I have heard and seen from non-Americans is very like worrying to me. It's concerning. Mainly because I don't know if I'm able to say that I'm a third party looking in, where I have heard a lot of things from my own people towards African Americans that are kind of derogatory. And one could blame it on the fact that the Jamaican culture is a very conservative culture. And so they probably align a lot more with conservative, which is bad, very bad. But that is a fact. It's a horrible fact that our culture is very conservative. And so we tend to say a lot of things that might not be intentional. So at my job, we have this training called unconscious bias training, whereas a lot of us, we probably need unconscious bias training. And I think where the miscommunication is faltering, especially what I just witnessed here right now, is where African Americans are saying, hey, this is how you're making me feel. I don't necessarily like it. And then other black folks, for whether it's black Americans, whether it's our black Brits or Africans or Caribbeans, are saying, well, it's not all of us. And then they're pushing back again by saying, yeah, we get it. It's not all of you, but it's enough of you to make us not like what we're feeling. It makes it's a slap in the face. Cynthia Erivo taking the part of Aretha Franklin, a slap in the face when there are so many talented people like Jennifer Hudson who could do a phenomenal job. And I feel like that's what African Americans are saying. They know, they understand. They're not dumb. They're not stupid. They're not trying to blame you for anything. What they're trying to say is you're not calling out the bullshit. Even if it's not all of you, you're not calling out the bullshit. And I can say for a fact that as a Jamaican, I have been in the majority of being quiet. And in my opinion, like Afro Elite mentioned, if you're not voicing your opinion against that minority within the minority, then you're complicit. You are part of the problem. It's the same thing with white people. If you're a white person and you're friends with a racist white person, in my opinion, you are racist. It's the same thing. If you are not calling that bullshit out, then you're just perpetuating the trash. And I've seen it over and over again. African Americans get shit on. Pardon my French or my bad language, but African Americans get shit on over and over. And then they're told, "Why are you complaining? Why are you crying?" And they're asked, "Why are you being so defensive?" They're being defensive because it happens over and over and over and over again. And no matter how much they talk about it, no matter how much
are you suggesting that's what I'm doing? Because I want to clarify that. Are you suggesting that's what I'm doing?
I'm not suggesting that's what you're. I'm not suggesting that's what you're doing.
Okay. Don't compare me to what white people do, please.
Mass, you're gonna have to let him finish. Go ahead.
I'm not suggesting that's what you're doing. I'm just suggesting that that's what I've seen. I'm not suggesting that's what I'm just saying that that's what I've seen over and over again. The situation with you, I feel like you misunderstood what they were saying, which is fine. It's a communication. It's a dialogue. We misunderstand each other and we clarify things, and that's okay.
Let me just add to something you said about Cynthia Erivo and why a lot of Black Americans don't like Cynthia Erivo. Not just because she plays significant roles of Black American figures, but her disdain for Black Americans. Okay, Cynthia Erivo on multiple occasions has shown disdain for Black Americans. Okay, she's got tweets and posts and all of this stuff where she's talking a mad mess. Okay, she's denigrating us, she's demonizing us, she's very disrespectful to Black Americans, yet she gets to play our icons. That's the thing that we can't rock with, or whatever the case is. First of all, our icons should be played by our people, and that's just the principle of it. Okay,
Hey, Afro, not to turn you off, not to cut you off, but didn't she lie to Tom Hanks? Didn't she lie to Tom Hanks about being Black American to get a role?
Oh,
I don't know. I've heard of that, but I don't know if that is a fact, but I have heard of that. So it's a lot of disrespectful stuff, which is why it's not like we just hating on all black UK people or Black people who are not Black American. But we don't like the fact that you get to disrespect us, and then when it comes to our significant icons and our legends and ancestors, you get first dibs on their roles. We don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that. Okay, that's my biggest issue.